You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Big Brother After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Big Brother After Show.
Here we go. We got the music, people. Woo! Welcome to AfterBuzz TV. Bing is for doing, and today we are covering Big Brother. We're so happy to be back this season, and I'm joined by the lovely, the talented Big Brother 14 alum, Ashley Iocco.
Hi.
Say hello to everybody.
How is everybody?
Are you excited to be here?
Yeah.
Well,
super excited.
Fantastic. My name is Ryan Allen Carrillo, and we are back. You know, I know all the fans were like eager. When are we starting back? We had a little bit of scheduling issues, and joining our panel, actually, Will is going to be joining us from your season. He's going to be calling a little bit later, and also Rachel Reilly. You know, she's basically the 17th member this season.
Yes.
And she will be calling in today, too, to give us the tea. And Portia, she's moved away to Miami, so we're sending her love and wishes, and we wish she was here. Oh my God, there's so much to talk about. I don't even know where to even start. We're going to cover episode 1 through 4 today, and then probably Thursday we're going to cover the rest. We'll have more of a set time of what's going on once we get our act together. But Ashley and I are here to go through all the gossip. I mean, Lord knows, you know, the first 3 episodes, there's already so much drama in the house. And
so much.
I guess we should just start with the cat. Well, let's just start, you know, the episode opened up, and it's a brand new set, a brand new house. What are your first thoughts and impressions?
A futuristic house. I personally like it a lot better than ours.
Do you know what it kind of reminds me, like the studio part, sort of when Rosie O'Donnell came on The View and it became all like blue and futuristic, almost like Oprah's set.
Yeah, I kind of felt like they were making it more like the glass house, which I didn't really like.
Yeah, we're not too pleased with the glass house.
No, ew.
Yeah, it's definitely not as like warm and homey. It's very like, it looks like a set, like.
Yeah, because they have the live audience now when they were actually introducing the cast as they went in the house.
Right, that was kind of strange, right?
Yeah, I didn't.
And then also, you always just wonder, like, how much, you know, because normally when you go to a taping of a show, you know, a lot of people don't live in Los Angeles, but, like, they show you, like, what we see on TV, like, you see it during, like, the breaks, then Julie will come on and talk, but they couldn't have shown all the little previews. I mean, I was thinking it'd be really boring to sit in that audience, because while the cast is on stage, they're not going to say, oh, I'm Rachel Reilly's sister, because all that's, like, private.
Right, they can't do
that. So then you're just sitting there, hi, welcome to the house. I mean, I don't know where they get these people.
It would have been a very boring.
Really boring show, right?
Yeah.
Hi, here we go, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Who knows? All right.
And that takes 5 seconds, by the way.
Literally, right?
That whole little thing, because it's bam, bam. We did it one time, and then you're in, and then that's your world.
Kind of take everybody back. What is it like when you're standing there ready to go in? Like, were you nervous? I mean, you're a little nervous here today just for this, but like, what was it like moving into a house knowing you could be there for 90 days and like all the shenanigans that you've seen in previous seasons? What was going through your mind as you walked in?
Well, we're lined up on the side behind the stage as we're walking in. So I remember Danielle was in front of me, and I just was like staring at her. She was wearing like a pageant gown, and that was just like, I like went through my head. I was like, oh, I'm like, this is like a pageant girl.
Right.
And that's the only thing I could think of. And then we went on, and then it's like it went so fast, and then you're in.
I mean, it has to be exciting too. I mean, you're nervous, excited. You sort of have the full range, and like, what the heck did I sign up for?
Yeah, you're going in for an experience of a lifetime.
Well, let's go in through some of the house guests. I mean, I guess we're gonna go into like in the news, because Lord knows TMZ has had a lot to say about the cast. But you know, of course, the first one on our list is Erin. So she's 22. She's from Texas. Cute girl. It looks like a beautiful, nice girl from the outside.
I had high hopes for Erin, huge hopes, and she a little disappointed me.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Amanda, we both like her.
Yes,
yeah,
I do.
What is she? She's a real estate agent from Long Island. She's definitely like a strong New York woman. She does high-end real estate.
Yes.
I want to see the receipts on that, but whatever.
She does funny one-liners, too.
She does, and Lord knows her showmance. We'll talk about that, too. Andy. He's the gay of the cast. We haven't really seen that much from him, so we always have high hopes for the gay. But like after you come after Will, I mean, what are you gonna do? We'll have to get Will's opinion on the new gay.
I can't wait to hear what he has to say because Will's hard to beat.
Yeah, it's a little hard. I mean, you can't really compete with cowboy boots and Daisy Dukes on your first day.
And a stunning body face. It's hard.
Candace. So Candace, you know, she hadn't really said much. I mean, just a little bit. But where's she from? It says she's from New Orleans.
Yeah, I know she was
She's a
she
speech
used to
therapist.
be a professional football dancer.
A professional football dancer? Do you hear this, people? A professional football dancer. Would that be a cheerleader?
She was a cheerleader for a professional football team.
Okay, cool. I mean, now she's a speech therapist. David, bless him. Everyone says like he's the hot guy on the show. Like, not really my tea, but I mean, I guess he's a good. He has that swirly hair, like the little swirly.
It takes a while for me to warm up to the house guests in the beginning.
Yeah, well, you know, I guess he's a little Frankish.
But is that he's trying to be like the token Frank?
He's the token
like,
Frank.
He has the Biebs hair where he's like trying to do that thing.
We'll see. Or we won't see. Alyssa. So clearly she is like, you know, the wild card this season, getting the most press. Rachel Reilly's sister. Can't wait to hear about that. It's so funny. I've met her in person because I went to Rachel's wedding, but she looks just like Rachel. I didn't realize until on the show, like even like how they like sit on the couch, how she's always holding a cup, and like that's really, really funny. Like the voice is completely different, but everything else is kind of the same.
Yes, they have very similar mannerisms.
Right.
It's like.
It's strange.
Yeah.
Because everyone has brothers and sisters, whatever, but they're just not that close. Like, you can't even tell. Even my sister, everyone says, oh, you guys always look alike. But some people are like, no. But that's just, I'll show you pictures later. Gina Marie. I mean, she's another one. She was a pageant coordinator. Pretty girl.
Yeah.
But, you know, we'll just preserve those thoughts for later, too.
Okay.
Helen. She hasn't had much. She's kind of emotional a little bit so far.
Which I was surprised because she's a politician, and usually politicians, you can't really have emotions.
Right, and so I don't know, but you know, again, the show just takes you outside of your comfort zone, and you know, it's really good at doing that.
Makes
you know what I mean?
you crazy.
Howard, you know, he is the very religious man of the group. He brought his Bible with him. So what's the rules? You can bring like any sort of religious book, or is it just the Bible?
Just the Bible, I believe.
That's kind of crazy.
Is there any other religious? I mean, obviously there is.
Is there any other religious books? This is going to be a long season, people. Are you hearing this, Marissa?
There are. However, I feel like you can only bring the Bible.
That's so funny. We were with Jeff and Jordan. We went to Brenchell's birthday party, and they were saying, we were like, well, what if you just put like a Harry Potter book in the Bible? Like, it just could read something, right?
Yeah, with a cover, a slip cover.
Yeah, just like cover it up, because it gets really boring in the house, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Jeremy. So I'm not really sure. He like kind of rubs me the wrong way, and I definitely would have some issues with him. He's young though too, and he lives on a boat, so he's like the sailor boy.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, remember he's like the boat shop person, lives on the boat.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Jessie. Not really much. She's apparently they said that she was rubbing a lot of people in the house like the wrong way, but I really didn't see it. I mean, I didn't watch all the live feeds.
Well, it's just because she thinks that she's so pretty, and it's okay to have confidence, but you don't have to go around saying how pretty you are all the time.
Right, and don't you have to think like your first impressions, at least for the first 7 days, you kind of want to like stay in the middle of the pack. You don't want to obviously be at the bottom. You definitely don't want to be at the top. You kind of want to like almost float a little bit, so not be, because the aggressive people go out right away. That's generally what happens. But you know that people could also see that as being aggressive.
Yeah.
So that's that tea. Judd, country guy.
We haven't seen much of him.
What's funny, he's like, you know, he comes across, you know, he's casted as like the southern, like not the smartest guy, but you know, he's a property appraiser, which requires a lot of math, and it's like, you know, a very like, you know, you have to use your brain. So like, he obviously is a smart guy, but like, you know, he's sort of being portrayed as like the dumb.
I don't have an opinion on him yet.
All right, it's also, we were talking about this too, it's so hard to like form opinions so quickly on these people, but like some people sort of stand out, like Amanda or a couple of other people, but like it is definitely hard to get to know. Like Caitlin's one of those people for me too. I haven't really bonded with her yet. She's a bartender.
Apparently she's not nice.
Oh, Well, yeah, there's apparently a lot of not nice people in this cast. All right, so McCrae, he's definitely come up as sort of like the star of the season so far. Pizza boy delivery, and he just owns it, and no one believes it.
That's the best part.
That is really funny because they think he's like a really, really smart guy, but I don't know, he's a funny guy. We have lots to talk about with him.
I love when they don't believe the occupations, like when they didn't think Frank was unemployed.
Yeah.
And everyone was making like all these like predictions about what he really was. He's a surgeon.
Did people believe that you were a spray tanner? Yes. They did. I need to get spray tan before the next show.
Okay.
And we should talk about your business too. You know, maybe some locals will want to, you know, get a little spray down. Nick, smart guy, comes across smart. He's a business guy from Ohio. Like him.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to be from Ohio. Oh, no, he's
hometown's from Ohio, but he lives in New York.
Got it.
There's a lot of Ohio people around here. And then finally rounding up with Spencer, who is a train conductor.
The conductor.
The conductor.
I have a fun fact, though. Did you know?
Here we go. We have an Ashley fun fact.
3 out of 5 people that live in LA right now are from Ohio.
That has to be true. Everyone I know is from Ohio.
That is so weird.
There's actually Ohio State bars. I mean, we're getting off topic, but yeah, there's like people from Ohio are all over this place. But that's a fun fact. But where did you hear this fun fact?
Actually, in Venice, I was shooting some pool, and this guy...
Some random stranger shooting pool with a beer drunk just told you a fact, and now you just sprouted it out to the world.
I want everyone to know.
Did I just say sprouted? Sprouted. Sprouted it out. Okay. All right. So the new cast opens up. We've introduced everybody, and then it starts to get, you know, people start getting a little bit crazy.
Already.
Alyssa's saying she wants an all-girl alliance. She wants to be the first one to do that. You know, it's a pretty big goal.
Never happens.
Never happens. You know, and I thought that was funny about McCrae. McCrae said something really funny. I think he was talking about David, but he says, you know, I'm not gay, but if I was, I would tear him apart. Why do straight guys say such ridiculous things?
They don't get it.
That's just really, really ridiculous. Like, I don't even know.
Do they know what that means?
I don't even know, but like, you know, he's going to find out quick. I just don't even know what to do. So then right away, what's it called? They sort of go into the new rules of the season. We have to like sort of talk about that. So basically the House of House, this is the first time there's not going to be 2 nominees, but there's going to be 3. So that sort of throws a wrench into it, and everyone doesn't know what to do or what that really means, or even if it is that significant, but it clearly is.
It is, because now it makes sense with the whole no floater twist.
So then let's just even discuss what it is. So basically the HOH, they nominate 2 people to go up there, and you know, granted it could change with the veto, but it's still 2 people. But each week America votes for an MVP, most valuable player of the week, and they vote online, on text, whatever it is, and then that person secretly finds out they're the MVP, and then they get to nominate, and the 3rd person goes up on the block, which is pretty significant. That person has a lot of power, but I think the biggest twist of the whole thing is that nobody will know who that person is unless you want to reveal it. So that could give you a lot of power to say. I mean, it definitely would change your game strategy because it's obviously very important. It also proves the point that you have to come across really likable on TV, which clearly these people have not listened to that at all. But I mean, you really have to come across like endearing. Like I definitely could see, you definitely could have won it a few times because you were cute, you were funny. Frank would have definitely, because what it does, it puts America, like if you really, really like someone, you're rooting for someone. Like obviously everyone is sort of rooting for Alyssa right now. They root for the underdog. A lot of people rooted for Frank because they really liked him, but the House considered him a threat. So the House considers you a threat. They put you up on the block. But if America like loves you, they'll put someone else up there and almost give you like a lifeline.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lifeline. Because the same thing happened with Janelle. She's always a target, huge target in the house, but then she has a huge fan base outside the house. It's a very big trend in Big Brother. Right. But
because there's a couple like standouts that literally just become, you know, they get tons of fans. You know, Rachel's one of those people too, where every week she was on the block, and every week she literally had to win power veto every time. Like she could have easily been gone and not won Big Brother. So that was just, this will be an interesting twist.
Yes.
So obviously, you know, it doesn't last very long, but everybody knows that Alyssa is Rachel's sister because, again, they look and talk exactly alike. And it also isn't a stretch because, you know, we had the whole Hans thing last season.
I know. But we also had Big Brother super fans in our house. Like Dan's a huge fan. as well as Survivor. Same with Ian. But then in this season, I didn't think that a lot of the house guests were big fans. So I personally didn't know if they were going to know.
Right.
But I guess they are.
Well, I also would say that even if you're not like a super fan, that like Rachel is so like she's sort of a recognizable
Yes.
girl, you know, with her fashion, her style, her voice, her showmance. You know, she's been on Amazing Race. She's had her wedding special show. She's kind of, you know, turned into like a public figure from this. And so if you look like the twin, and they did that twist last year, because you have to at least admit, well, maybe you can admit this. Before you went on Big Brother, did you watch the previous season, the whole season before you went on?
Yes.
Yeah, because you're going to. You're, okay, I want to win. I want to do well. See what other people, what I'm getting myself into. So they've had to see the Willie connection. And they're like, oh, maybe it's another trend. Do you know what I mean?
Duh. I didn't even think about that. They obviously were watching Big Brother before they went in the house.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
so that's that tea. All right, so the first HOH competition is Popsicle Factory. So basically they climb these popsicles. It's a typical Big Brother HOH competition, which we all love. They're climbing up. The big tongue comes out, licks them. It's completely ridiculous. Spray them with cold water. Spray them with all that like color, like shenanigans or whatever going around. And so what I normally say about these challenges that require like strength moves is that normally the ladies do better. They have less body weight, and girls on Survivor, for instance, I usually feel that like on those balancing things that the females normally do a lot better, but that kind of wasn't the case this time. There was only one girl left standing, but you know, the first one off was Judd. You know, and the rest, they lasted like past 3 hours. That's like a really long time. I mean, like you're done by that time.
And you're holding on there for a long time. So.
Yeah, and they're not like on top just sitting. Like there's literally their whole body. I mean, it's definitely trying for sure. And you know, Judd is the first one off, like I said, and like it's always funny that the first people off, they're always like screaming that oh, I did it on purpose, and that always is funny. We always like to see the receipts on that. And then so you know, they announced that they put 2 boxes out there, and they said the next 2 people who drop off will have a chance to open up the boxes. And one of the boxes contains have not pass, a never not pass. So that means they never have they never have to go in that room. We'll talk a little bit about the have not, but like how important is having that pass?
That's huge. That's a magical power in the Big Brother house.
And not just because you're hungry, but it's because the game, this is a hard athletic game, and you need to use your brain, and the entire time you're on, like the game changes every 2 seconds. Just when you think someone's going home, it's switching, it could be you, and you're trying to deflect it. So you have to have your wits about you. And if you're not eating, you're not sleeping, and I mean, I guess you can go without a shower, but like it really does affect your gameplay.
It does. Mentally, physically, you're just not all there.
Right. I barely slept last night at all. I can barely read my notes. So, I mean, you know what I mean? It gets really hard in that house. So anyways, David drops off. He didn't get it. And Jeremy got off, and then he got it. So
the worst person probably to get it.
Right.
This gives him extra creatine.
And then also, don't you think that the first HOH is you're sort of setting your impression to everyone in the house of like, oh, that's a strong player, we should align with him, or he's going to do good in challenges, or he's only going to think of himself. So it is like you're thinking, should I get off? Should I try this? Like it is a risk too. I mean, you never know how people are going to view you. McCrae ends up winning, and he made a deal with Nick that he wasn't going to put him up for on the block, basically. So
which worked out.
Right. So, you know, good for him, but three hours is a long time. So then sort of the end of the first episode, they sort of just go into the nomination process and how that's going to work again, and that was the end of episode 1. Episode 2, it starts off with Nick, and they formed an alliance. What was their alliance called?
Oh, the moving company.
The moving company. What do you think of the name?
I personally love it.
Yeah, it's good, right?
Yeah.
You know, we're going to move you out of here.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
It's genius. And they have like cute little phrases and stuff.
They do. I mean, that's the whole thing about Big Brother. You have to. Did you think about some cute phrases to say when you're in your room, or do you just wing it when you have
You know what? I wish I would have been a little more prepared. Even in the hotel room when you're in sequester for a week before you go in, why wasn't I thinking of cool one-liners? Right. I was totally winging it.
Because, you know, the other people in there that are in there with their full outfits, they fully have like, oh, I'm going to say these lines. I mean, it comes across almost like it's completely scripted sometimes. Because,
yes.
Because when they deliver their line in the room, because they had been thinking about their lines so much that it just comes across like, are they reading off a cue card?
I know. I was thinking about some of the DRs. And the girls are dressed to the 9 this season.
Of course.
They are.
Well, I would say also this season compared to any other so far, the girls are fully in the mirror, like straightening their hair, like full conversation. But it's funny. We'll talk about this later for some of the other shenanigans, but like how the Big Brother house, at least from the outside must feel really comfortable for these people for the conversations that are going on, but like they just are completely, they're maybe aware the cameras are there, but they're not aware they're there as well. But the girls are also, we'll talk about, this is like the showman's house too. Like everyone is obviously wants to get crazy. So all the girls are dressing up and like.
It's like they want the whole Big Brother experience. They want showmances.
They want to get pregnant on the show.
They do. They're ready to get married and have babies.
I mean, it's completely out of control. And we go right into, well, let's just talk about who's in the alliance. Well, it's Nick, Spencer, Jeremy, Howard, and McCrae, so it's all solid guys. I mean, I don't know, they could do pretty well. They could.
Well, it reminds me so much of the Brigade, and you know they have their secret like sideline alliances too.
And that's sort of the key, right? You have to have multiple alliances to survive. I would say like the wild card with this alliance is Jeremy, because he's so, you know, volatile that I think it might be hard to control him some of the time.
Well, he wants to run it. He wants to be the leader of the pack.
Right. He just wants to, like, you know, hit his chest and, you know, get crazy on everybody. And McCrae is also one of those guys where he's, you know, he's coming across like he's a smart guy, but like he changes his mind. Like whoever's in the room with him, he changes his mind. Like he doesn't really have a backbone. He hates confrontation. You notice he's like biting on his pillow. He's biting his nails. Like he's really awkward and crazy. But I think people maybe aren't threatened by him because he's really not making many decisions on his own.
No, he's not. But he cannot keep a straight face. He's very emotional. Anyone he's talking to, it's like you can read his face.
Right. I mean, and going with that, I mean, we'll talk about this part later, but when he told Amanda about Alyssa, like Amanda just walked out of the room and he just spilled the tea, and the second Alyssa walked in, he had just, oh my God, I just told her everything. Like he just can't even like help it. Like he just like spills it out. Like, well, at least you know he's maybe going to tell you the truth.
He has a big heart, like a conscience.
I don't know. So that is a little risk for that one as well. So then we get into our first showmance of Aaron and David.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, they like fell in love like really quick.
Like 7 minutes they knew each other.
Well, I mean, clearly she's crazy, but she like just jumps up around and wraps his legs around him. Like every time she sees him, it's like, I mean, she's like fully in it.
Yeah, I'm like the other showmances. I feel like kind of like develop. Yeah, this is just pick a guy. Let's go. Wrap the legs around him.
I mean, it's just crazy. Well, speaking of showmances, we have, you know, arguably, you know, probably the most famous showmance on Big Brother. We have Rachel Reilly on the line. Miss Rachel, are you there?
Hey!
Rachel, we were just saying that you're the 17th house guest this season.
Dude, right? They won't stop talking about me.
I mean, there's so much to talk about on this wrap-up show on the first 4 episodes. I'm so glad you're here. We wish you were in the studio with us, but we know you're like so crazy, and we hope to have you on all the time. But like, what are your first impressions? I mean, you're on TMZ quoting things. I mean, you have to like catch us up on everything.
Okay, so basically my first impressions of the show was I thought it was going to be amazing because there's 16 house guests, there's 3 nominations every week, there's like this MVP, so I'm like super excited.
Right.
I thought that, you know, this season would be so amazing, so great, like I just love the twist. Like I think the twists are amazing, and I think that with 16 house guests, it makes it even crazier of a Big Brother season. The only thing I don't like is now that we get to meet the house guests,
right.
I just feel like there's these mean girls and like they're evil.
Like we were trying to discuss this. I mean, we haven't really dove into this yet, but like, where do you think this is? I mean, they know they're on camera. Like, we all know we're on camera right now. Like, we're sort of, you know, have our best behavior. We're not going to say anything completely shenanigans. Like, do these people just not realize that there's cameras on them?
I don't know, because I always think about that. Like, when you're in the Big Brother house, Ashley's on too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, hey, girl.
Yeah, hey, girl, hey. But you know, like, Ashley, when you're in the Big Brother house, you know that you're on camera. Like, it's not something that you forget. You forget that the cameras are constantly watching you, and you kind of are like, oh, I can be more of myself. But you know you're always on camera, right?
Yes, they do a really good job of making you feel at home and making that your environment, but you can still lay on the hammock and see a microphone above your head. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like that, you know, it's like these house guests, I think they can't possibly completely forget, but the stuff they're saying, it just must be like what they really think. And I honestly think in their brains, they don't think what they're saying is bad. And I don't know how.
Right.
But like,
it's very disappointing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's so absurd. Like, I mean, I wouldn't even think the stuff that's coming out of their mouths.
I know. Oh my God, I think of these things.
Exactly. Like, I don't even think about that kind of stuff. And, you know, there's, like, times in Big Brother when you want to, you know, just go over to someone and, like, tell them off. And times in Big Brother where you can't wait to win a competition so you can evict someone. But even then, there's also times when you guys are all sitting around and you're best friends and you're all sitting around and you're getting to know each other and you're having fun and you're still appreciating the fact that you guys are all experiencing this really fun game together. So I don't know how, like, they completely have missed out on that whole entire aspect of the game, but it seems like that they're just completely, instead of focusing on, like, having fun and getting to know people and forming good alliances and playing a strategic game, it's just like they're playing like this hater game. It's like ridiculous.
It's like they're all miserable and none of them want to be there, which is like, why did you even go in the first place? It's just...
Yeah, exactly. And it's week 1 and this is the longest season they've ever done a Big Brother. And it's week 1 and these people are like, I'm going to go, you know, leave. And then half of them are like, I hate this person, I hate this person. And then they're making all these racist and homophobic and evil, like, mean-spirited comments. I just don't understand how, like, they think they're going to last all summer, because it's just going to get worse and it's just going to get harder.
Well,
yeah.
Well, bless your sister for having, because I would not want to live in this house. And, like, is it really hard to watch her?
Neither. Evil spirits everywhere.
Is it hard to watch her on the show?
It's so hard to watch my sister. It's the hardest to watch her than it was to play the game. Like, I played the game 2 years in a row, and that was insane, but it's way harder to watch her, and especially in this house because she's such a target, and she's not really, like, I want to go in there and big sister it and, like, go in and win a competition and evict these people and be like, listen, I want to put you, Aaron, and you, Jeremy, on the block, and you guys are both leaving. And if there's a double eviction, I'm going to somehow make sure I can win and evict you both. Like,
how amazing would that be?
I mean,
yeah.
she definitely...
Oh, my God, that would be, like, a dream come true. If I could go in there and seriously beat Jeremy in a competition and then personally evict him, it would be the best day of my life. Like, well, I think I would do a ridiculous dance. It would be better than winning the game.
Well, they need to bring you in there to do something, because she definitely needs a lifeline. I mean, congratulations for her winning MVP. I mean, all your fans, like, really rallied for her, and, like, everyone, like, feels, I think, sorry for her. I think they want her to be, like, a little bit more aggressive, but they also just realize that she's, like, in a situation where she just probably feels, like, really sad and alone.
Exactly, and I think that's the biggest problem. I think everyone wants to see her, like, win these competitions. They want to see her stand up to these girls. But I think the problem is that she is worried that, you know, like, if she goes and stands up to them, she's just going to create all these waves in the house and that everyone's going to talk bad about her. And I can see her, like, starting to turn on the, like, Alyssa that I know that's a little bit more feisty.
Right.
And I can see her starting to be like, well, that was fun, you know, when she said that about Aaron's HOH room. Like, clearly that was awesome, because Aaron can't say anything bad about that. And
right.
I agree. Like, I loved when she said that.
Alyssa was clearly being sarcastic, you know?
I mean, don't you think that... what's it called? Also, just like when you first get there, it has to be a little bit overwhelming. She was trying to, like, have a secret or whatever, but do you think that she should have from the beginning said that she was your sister?
Absolutely. I told her going in, I said, you know what, everyone's going to know you're my sister, and if they don't know right away by looking at you, then they're going to know as soon as you laugh and as soon as you talk. And I was like, you should just go in there and say, make it out of it, you know, say, like, you know, you might recognize me because I'm Rachel's sister, you know. So if she would have gone in, I think, and made a joke out of it, I think that people would have been more receptive to her, and they would have maybe laughed about it, and then they would have been like, oh, man, this is crazy. But instead, like, you know, going into the Big Brother house, Ashley knows if you have any secret you try to hide, like lying about what you do or lying about anything or any secret, people automatically think that, like, what else is she hiding? What other secret does she have?
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. And I think it's like a game that she was playing, and she should have been a little bit more careful about how she kept the secret, because if she really wanted to keep it a secret, she should have at least came open up in front with her alliance, like, you know, right away, and then said, like, look, I am Rachel's sister. I just want you guys to know I'm not telling the whole house, so I want you guys to know. Like, there's just different ways she could have done it, but I think keeping it a secret put a bigger target on her back.
Right,
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
just gave her a bad rap from the beginning, which I feel like if she would have said it in her intro, people might have, like, went up to her and been like, give me some tips, like, maybe we can, like,
work together. Right, because you're famous, and so they all want to, like, hang out. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Well, and I thought that they would appreciate it, because if I was new in Big Brother and, like, I don't know, like, Dan's sister would have came into the game, I would have been like, I'm working with Dan's sister, because I know Dan had to have told her stuff.
Right.
And on top of it, I know that she's going to know what to do, and she's going to know a lot more about this game than I do, and have a whole different perspective. Plus, she'll always be a bigger target than me. And I think people are not realizing all the positives to working with her. They're just seeing all the negatives, like,
they just see that she, like, has, like, a secret, and so they, like you said, they feel like, well, what else is she hiding? I mean, some of the housemates have even said that.
Right, and they'll find any reason to not like you in there.
Any reason to not like you, and any reason to target you, and any reason to try to evict you, especially the first week, because nobody wants to be evicted the first week.
Yes.
Like, that's the biggest thing.
Every show, you don't want to go home first on any show. Well, Rachel, who stands out to you on the show? Like, who do you really like?
Well, obviously my sister.
Clearly, we love her.
I love Alyssa. I love Helen, because I think that this friendship between Alyssa and Helen is really cute. And I think that Alyssa and Helen are starting to work with Andy and Candace now.
Yeah.
And I love that. I would love more than anything for Alyssa to stay in the house this week, and for Andy, Candace, Alyssa, maybe like Howard. I think they could pull some of these other players
Amanda
into their alliance. Amanda, McCrae, like, maybe pull them in and have an alliance that's stronger than this Mean Girl alliance with Jeremy, and, like, just get rid of them. Get rid of that whole alliance, and then they could go to the end, you know? But I think they need to realize if they band together that they're going to go a lot farther than working with Aaron or working with this moving company alliance, because, unfortunately, like, Andy's going to be the first one out of the moving company. Like, they're just going to get rid of him, you know?
So he might as well.
And the same with McCrae.
Right. The McCrae's not going to last long either, so you might as well pull them over. I totally agree with you. Well, what are you up to now? What's new with you? Where can we promote you? Where can we see you? What's the tea?
Well, I have a lot of projects that I'm doing right now, but you should just definitely keep watching Big Brother and promoting my sister, watching her. And I won't say that there's not... Wait. Is this live?
Yes.
You should just keep watching Big Brother.
Oh, okay. Well, we heard it here first. Where can people find you on Twitter?
You can find me on Twitter at Rachel E. Reilly.
Well, fantastic. Well, thanks for stopping by. We missed you in the studio. It was so good to see you this weekend, and we want to wish Brendan a happy birthday. We had fun.
Yay!
And
I wish I could be there, but I'll definitely be there another week.
Well, perfect. Well, we're going to keep watching.
Yeah. Bye, Rach. We love you.
We're going to check in with you later. Thanks for calling.
Guys.
Love ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Love her.
Oh, me too.
So, yeah. So, I mean, it's so funny. Rachel, people come across that Rachel's like, you know, a ditz or whatever on the show, but she's really, really smart at this game. Like, she's knows smart. She knows this game inside and out. And she's one of those people who she told me that she studied, like, she knew Big Brother, like, literally at the back of her hand. Like, she didn't just watch one episode. She literally watches all the live feeds. She watches Big Brother Canada, UK. She watches all of it. Like, she's so, like, she, like, loves it. It's like her whole thing. So, fantastic.
She's passionate, and that's why she won. I think passion really gets you far.
Yeah, well, bless her. And we hope Alyssa, Lord...
We pray for her. Howie, get your book out.
Get your book out. Let's do a full prayer circle. Well, while we're here, we want to, like, tell...
I'm sorry. His name's not Howie.
What? Howard.
Howard, sorry.
Same thing. We want to tell all of our fans, and if you guys like Big Brother, to check us out on iTunes. We're on iTunes. Subscribe to us. Share it with your friends. I mean, we're going to have a very exciting show for you. We're going to have evicted house guests. We're probably going to be at the house for the finale. I mean, we're going to have a crazy fun show for you guys. So we appreciate all the comments. If you guys have any comments on the show, one question you wanted to ask the fans was, what's up with the veto bag? None of us really know what the veto bag is.
Please help us out on that one.
Let us know what's the tea with that. Let us know on iTunes. We will reply to all your comments on YouTube. Like us, share our videos, and we're excited for that and excited for the season.
Yes, we
all right,
really
so where were we? So we were... what were we talking about? I don't even know. I think we were talking about well, we're talking about a little bit about the showmance, whatever, but the next thing that's going on is the have-nots competition, which basically, if you be out of the have-nots, you get slop, no beds, and cold showers. And so they were sort of describing this, you know, a lot of people said this a couple of times. They said, you know, oh, our alliance is the hottest alliance in Big Brother history, which let's not get crazy. There's no one on this show that really stands out as being super hot to me.
Oh my gosh, let go of your egos,
like, just let it go. Like, just, it's okay saying, hey, we're cute, like, we're living, but like the hottest in history, I mean, that's like putting it out there. But, you know, people are also just being ridiculous sometimes too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always saying ridiculous things.
Yeah, but you're saying it in like, we're living, having fun spirit.
And maybe, right, and also maybe when I say something too, it's clearly a joke.
Yeah, it's a hashtag, okay?
Yeah, hashtag we're famous. Like, I'm kidding, kinda. So that's sort of like, what is it, airplane seats, which airplane travel is not great for me, but because I'm so tall.
I would have loved to have the airplane seats. I'm so good at sleeping.
But they are saying that this is the worst have-nots room in Big Brother history too. Let's just talk about your
Did they see our season? I hate to be biased, but ours was the worst.
Describe what yours was again in case people don't remember.
We were laying on metal plates, like raised, like diamond plated.
Right, diamond plated metal.
Metal and on hard plastic, no cushion whatsoever. And then it was slanted down, and then it was like it went into a point at the end,
right.
So you couldn't even have your whole body on it. You couldn't sleep.
You hurt your back. I mean,
yeah, it's the absolute worst position for your body.
Yeah.
Like medically.
Like going downwards. Well, speaking of a good condition for us medically, we have another lovely phone call. We have your buddy, your season. We have Will on the phone.
Yes.
Will, are you there?
Hey, I'm here. Light me up and smoke me. I'm good for your health.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the introduction. How are you? We're so happy to have you on. We wish you were in the studio, but we know you moved to LA, then you went back to go work on something, but you're coming back.
Yeah, my life is kind of in a whole, like, I don't know what's going on. I'm here in Kentucky for right now, and hopefully going to get back there soon to see you guys.
Well, we would love to, like, you know, have you here with us, and everyone wants to know what Will thinks about the new cast, what's going on. I mean, there is some controversy. We just got off the phone with Rachel Reilly. She spilled her tea. So we just need to hear the Will, just spill your tea.
Give it to us.
Oh, my gosh. So I have to say, I think that this is, like, probably one of the worst casts in Big Brother history. I mean,
aren't you glad you're not on this season?
For the people I was in the house with, which says a lot. I mean, these kids, there's a difference between hate and ignorance. And, you know, I think I don't know how Ashley feels about this, but on our season, there were a few people that, you know, I think they're just a victim of where they, you know, are from and how they were brought up, but always the willingness to learn and grow. And some of these house guests are pretty just blatant in hate, you know, and they'll fully write what they're doing and talking about. And it's kind of disturbing, but at the same time, I mean, it makes for good television.
It does, but they didn't grow up under a rock. Like, they know better. I want to, you know, I just feel like.
I agree. I mean, like, they weren't raised in, like, by wolves. I mean, this was obviously learned behavior, and they're obviously saying it with, you know, maybe, I don't know if pride's the right word, but they're clearly, I mean, we were talking about this on the way over here. Like, what more do these people say when the cameras aren't on these people?
Right. They're adamant about what they have to say about people.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I think all of us, when we're around close friends and around, you know, we say things that we would never, you know, not necessarily on the level that they're saying, but, you know, we say things that, you know.
Right, you say some mean-spirited comments, whatever.
But you are being filmed 24/7. I think, you know, that was one thing that going into the Big Brother house, you have, I mean, it traumatized me. I was so, like, worried what I would say and if something came out wrong and if it was misread. And these kids are just like, hey, pour me a shot of Clorox and let's go to hell. You know, just going to town with
the side of racism.
Yeah.
The what?
I said with the side of racism.
Oh.
It's just out of control.
Racism.
So what do you think about the new gay? We have to get your, you know, it's the big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Oh, Thanks. You know, I have watched the live feeds a little bit, and he doesn't necessarily have the nicest things to say about me, so I'm going to wait
Really?
on voicing what I think about him until I meet him, because I think it's pretty unfair to say anything about somebody till you really meet them in person.
What did he say?
So.
Yeah, what did he say in the live feeds?
I think something along the lines about that I wasn't really funny and that I was too pretty to win Big Brother, which I think kind of insults everybody who's ever won Big Brother. I think Ian Terry is hot as hell, so I
well, to each their own.
blatantly disagree with him on that one. So
I mean, well, I don't know. That's not very nice. Maybe you have,
but that's a compliment.
Yeah, maybe you need to send him a little cowboy hat or something to get him a little, you know, feeling some Will love.
That's what I'll do.
Or
it is kind of funny, though, you know, being a viewer this year and watching the house guests kind of talk about past house guests, and, you know, it's like karma, baby. You better watch out.
You bring up a good point. This is the first season where both of you are watching it on TV for the first time. How weird is it to watch a new cast and not see your name up there? And like, it's like, it must be a little like surreal. Like, A, thank God you're not with these people, but B, it's just like, do you like miss it a little bit?
You know what? I was a little bit sad, you know, kind of at first, like, oh, you know, all the excitement, all the buzz. But after watching the feeds and seeing this cast, I'm like, I'm enjoying my wine and enjoying not being around these kids.
Right? Oh, my God. I would have been crying in a closet. Well, we don't have closets, but you know.
Well, let's also point out, like, if you having your wine now, they would have fought you over that wine and drank it without you.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. We would have had to, like, break the bottles and stab people.
Yeah, over someone's head. Well, Will, we want to thank you for calling. It's always great to hear from you. What's going on? Where can people find you on Twitter? I know you're like a YouTube sensation. We love your Gone with the Wind.
Oh, my God, you're funny.
Well,
who can say you're not funny?
I am doing a Big Brother comedic recap. I play all the characters in the house. And you can find it at thewillshow.com, Will with one L, or follow me on Twitter at Will Hauser.
Well, fantastic. Well, we love hearing from you. We hope to hear from you soon. And, you know, this is going to be a crazy season. We're going to be here every week, so we hope to hear from you again.
Well, I'll be tuning in, and I love you guys a lot. Thanks for having me call in.
Will.
Bye, babe. We'll talk to you later.
All right, bye, kittens.
Kittens. We got to love him. So, yeah. So, who knew? So, so Andy's mean now, too? It doesn't sound like it was really that mean. He just said he just didn't think he was funny, which...
You know what it is? I think Andy, like, probably had a crush on Will, so he's like,
that's
you know, it's like the kindergarten thing.
Oh, he's just not very funny. I mean, that's not a horrible thing to say.
No. And too pretty to win Big Brother, I'd take that as a compliment.
Yeah, that's fine. Someone please tell me that. But Will's funny as hell.
Yeah,
I
know.
I think the one thing that you can't say that he's not funny, like I don't know.
That's
like,
one thing he is.
Yeah, he's really, really funny.
Yeah.
Like, his things are out of control. Like, his YouTube thing makes me laugh. So... We're good. I mean, God, we have so much going on still. So the Have-Nots competition happened. They basically had to go across that inner tube, go across some sort of lake. It's not really a lake.
It's camping.
Camping, dive into this ice cold thing, get these soda cans, go back across one at a time. And then each person was, they're each holding a rope with a little platform, and they had to stack the soda cans perfectly. But each person has to switch out to go dive in and get another can. If one falls,
you're done.
You have to start over. And so actually it was a good challenge. I thought it was, I mean, it looked hard. I mean, clearly it must have took a while too. And so basically, you know, Howard's the first one in the water. We were talking about this, like when you're one of the first few competitions, like, you know, the popsicle one's pretty easy. You're just holding on. I mean, it's not necessarily easy, but it's not requiring much. But you could just see these people who are not seasoned veterans are in full panic mode. Like they dive and they keep flipping over into the water when you literally just have to like breathe and just go through it. But you know, when I was on Expedition Impossible, we were the same. We were, okay, we're going to go in with a calm head. We discuss our game plan before the challenge or whatever, and then soon as they hit thing, we're running around like crazy. Like, I remember one specific incident. We were supposed to get horses. We're going to walk up, pet the horse. So try to find the right horse, because if you get a crazy horse, because it's a 10-mile thing with all your things. And we just literally run in, our arms are in the air, and the horses are jumping. They threw us on the ground. My horse ran away. I mean, we basically,
that's hard.
We basically said, walk in and be calm. And we just didn't. I mean, it was like, you know, basically these guys in the water.
And you're dealing with wild animals, with the cast too.
Yeah, it's a full mess. So anyway, so the red team, they had to start over. The yellow team, they were almost done. And Caitlin literally just drops the can right there for no reason. So she had to go back. But anyways, the yellow ended up in second, and then the red did lose. And so then they start throwing out names for nomination, you know, because obviously, like Rachel said, no one wants to be the first one to go home. Was that like a concern of yours? You're like, please let me not be the first one to go home. That's basically all you want to do. You either want to win or not go home first.
Absolutely. It's constantly running through your mind that first week.
So basically they were thinking Jesse, Candace, David, or Alyssa as possible nominations. And then it ends up actually being Jesse and Candace. So
yeah, which
whatever. I mean, there was, like they said, the reason behind it was basically they didn't really have an alliance that they really knew of. They really didn't get much airtime. I mean, not that they would even know that, but they're kind of are under the radars, weak players. You know, they're definitely not trying to get out one of the guys or a strong player right away because, you know, McCrae doesn't want to put a target on his back.
No, sometimes, you know, and I'm the #1 culprit because I was a swing vote, and Kara, I will always be apologetic to you for that. But it's like, everyone always gets out like a weak little girl the first week. I think it's silly.
Because it's like, I don't know, you just want to last longer. So it's like you just want to like play it safe, kind of what I was talking about earlier. So Candace, of course, isn't pleased. Comes right up, you know, knocks on McCrae's door and basically says, hey, I think you're in alliance with the 5 guys. She sort of hinted around at that. So that, you know, that is sort of falling apart, you know, kind of quickly. And the whole house basically thinks Alyssa's going to be MVP, which I think everyone thinks that. You know, all the comments I read before, they either sort of loved her or hated her because of Rachel, which, you know, Rachel's sort of the same way. You either love her or you hate her, but it doesn't really matter if you love them or hate them. At least you like them. And whether you like to hate them, I mean, it's one of the same to me, is what I think.
Yeah, because people love to hate. Yeah. Like, people will go on about the Kardashians. They hate, but they're going to watch them every week.
Right. It's almost like a sports team. Like I say, Big Brother, like everyone watches it and you're screaming at the TV. It's one of the few programs, so is Survivor, where you literally scream at the TV, what are you doing? Like, that's what we love the show.
Yes.
So then this part gets really weird. McCrae Alyssa spills the tea to McCrae that she's the MVP, which I think everyone sort of wishes that she didn't. But McCrae sort of says he wants David. But then McCrae sort of takes this weird thing and says that, you know, if he wins Power Veto, that he's going to put Alyssa up on the block, which...
Right to her face.
To her face. Well, like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, she just, like, told you something really, like, almost a game changer, like, really quiet, and a couple of things. And is really... And he's just like, and? Like... Yeah. And she didn't really have a very good reply either. So that was a little strange to me. And
that whole thing didn't really make a lot of sense.
And, you know, I always thought that this part's always funny. You know, Alyssa says that, you know, I'm trying to change McCrae's mind of backdooring her. I always think of a gay reference. I mean, maybe it's a little, sorry, people listening. So then, you know, Alyssa and Howard, they get to play in the veto competition. And then we see another showmance sort of come up with... you know, David, well, first of all, David ends up getting the 3rd nominee, and he instantly thinks, oh, the whole house hates me, and, like, he sort of gets into a fight with his showmance, and then she's in the corner crying, and, like, it was actually really, really funny when he kept saying, are we, like, okay?
Are we good?
Now? And she's like, you just don't get it, like, and he's just like, I'm the one nominated, why are you the one crying? Like, I mean, clearly she's crazy. Let's just put Aaron's crazy. Let's just put that out there. And then so McCrae also ends up telling Amanda that Alyssa's tea, so that she's the MVP. And then
he wants to earn her trust.
Right. And then we talked about this the second she left. He's just like, I told her I couldn't help it. So that was crazy.
He can't help it.
One thing we should have asked Rachel was the Giselle comment.
Oh, I had a little bit of secondhand embarrassment watching that segment.
I mean, it was weird because it's like she's like sort of spilling the tea. Oh, my sister, but then she doesn't. She holds back. It's like
Giselle.
It's like just say. I'm sure she's gonna be horrified when she sees it too. It'd be interesting. I'm sure she just is like a little overwhelmed in there, but like
sometimes you really can't think straight in there.
I mean, it's literally a fishbowl circus when you first get in there. So we get into the veto competition. I'm talking fast because we're trying to get through this, but it was the Big Brother baking competition. They each had to spell the words. The longest word was the winner. So we'll just get to McCrae won.
Yes.
And but we also have to point out that David, bless him, is the first person in history didn't get one word because he was trying to spell out competition. So he was looking for. I mean, he clearly didn't understand the rules. And like you said, sometimes before these competitions, they read the rules to you. That, you know, it'd be boring for television, but they do tell you, hey, these are the rules.
Yeah.
And they go through it so fast that you don't like. You really have to pay attention.
spinning.
But it's so funny. Don't you also think that before the challenge, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go under here while they're telling you the rules,
right?
And then so you're like, oh, I didn't even pay attention.
No,
like,
because you're so there's so many times in Big Brother competitions where people have been disqualified because they didn't read the rules or listen to the rules, and then you're totally,
DQ'd.
Yeah, and that's the worst thing that could ever happen.
Yeah, and that happens a lot. They don't really air a lot of the DQs though, but it does happen. I hear everybody talking about it.
No, they do. I know 2 scenarios, like what happened to Boogie during that Fat Stacks competition in my season.
Got to read the rules and pay attention.
Got to pay attention.
Got to pay attention. So yeah, that's all that shenanigans. So then, you know, this is also when the house is sort of saying maybe they should not get rid of Alyssa, and that he shouldn't use the power veto because they think that she's going to win the MVP every week and that she could be valuable. Some people are starting to see the value of Alyssa.
They could, yeah. Which is why haven't they? I'm glad some light bulbs went off.
Right.
But if Alyssa does go, which I hope she doesn't, it's going to raise so much paranoia in that house because they're not going to know who is MVP.
Right. At least now you know every week, sort of. You know, you almost get to control the game a little bit.
Yes.
And she wouldn't be a hard person to get rid of. Like they said, let's keep her around for a few weeks, which would be smart to keep her around. She's very non-threatening. She's very passive so far.
Yes.
She is good at challenges. Like physically, she's like a very strong girl, like Rachel too. Right. So it's like it doesn't really make sense why you'd want to get rid of her. And Nick is for sure wants him to do that too in his alliance.
Yes.
But McCrae's like, he's buckling to the house. Like the whole house wants him to go. She's sort of volatile, and that's sort of what that's turning into. So he ends up, of course, saving Candace, which we didn't really see the interaction with them and how they really bonded right there. But then they ended up, you know, nominating Alyssa.
I think she was just, you know, just take Candace off. It wasn't like I don't think there was any
thought
they just
process.
had to pick somebody.
Pick somebody. Let's just pick her because they didn't like Jesse.
Yeah.
So then we see another showmance form between Jeremy and Caitlyn. But then, you know, the biggest showmance of the whole thing was the very weird topless
Oh my God.
Amanda and McCrae, sorry. Like, what in the, I mean, that was really funny. And he just kept saying, I'm so weird. Why do you like me? Like, it was just really, really awkward. And she was just like, she looked like she was going to like destroy him.
Oh my God, I know.
They start making out. I mean, there is a lot of love in the air in the Big Brother house.
The craziest thing was when you're watching it and then McCrae goes into the little baby fetus position, like after they're done making out. I'm like, just cuddle or something.
I mean, just don't be so awkward. But I mean, who knows the last time he even slept with the girl? But then he also made that gay comment too. So who even knows what's going on with him?
It's supposedly Dave too. Or not Dave. I'm sorry. Nick. They're saying that Nick has a crush on Andy.
Really?
Yeah. To be continued, guys.
Wow.
Spoiler alert.
Wow. We need a gay show. But there's always only one gay, maybe one bi guy. So
yeah, I think there might be some.
I kept saying on Survivor there should be gay versus straights one season. How ridiculous would that be?
They should.
They could have a gay men tribe, a lesbian tribe, a women tribe, and a straight men.
That's genius.
That would be amazing. Come on, people. All right, so then we also have to talk about Winegate really quick.
Oh, God.
So Jeremy again
Winegate.
shows his volatileness by jumping in and just literally reading about, you know, because this all goes back to Aaron again, being selfish, wanting the wine. And, you know, Jeremy did what she said, and he just came in and just started yelling at everybody. Helen sort of had a breakdown. It's sort of like the real first moment in the house where someone sort of acts completely inappropriate and sort of just knocks the vibe out of the house for everybody.
Yeah. Jeremy just doesn't care.
At all. So then we get to the vote, and I said that this was very interesting during the vote, that you could hear the audience applaud and boo. They applauded every time David was nominated, and every time Alyssa, they booed. And you could only hear it for the first few people. They literally had to have told the audience, guys, quiet, because the house guests can hear, because Julie's saying thank you, and they're hearing it back. And so there's some sort of shenanigans with that.
Because the walls are pretty thin. Even during the live shows, when we're sitting there waiting to go, you can hear them cheering outside.
You can hear them laughing and everything, too? That's so funny. Can you hear them, like, setting up and talking to the audience and warming them up?
No, just the cheers.
Huh? Because normally when you go to the shows, they like have the person in there saying, "Okay, we're gonna cheer when we come on. We're gonna do this." You couldn't hear any of that.
Yeah, no, you couldn't hear that.
That's so funny. So basically, David ends up going home by 7 votes, and so he's gone. I mean, it's not really a big surprise. It's so funny that they thought that he's such like a threat when really, you know, the veto competition, the worst in the history of Big Brother.
Jeff's probably so happy.
It just doesn't make sense why he's such like, why they thought he was such a threat. Like we talked about this all the time. They on Survivor too, they think that like the bigger guys, quote unquote, he's not even like a big guy, is like the biggest threat, when really a lot of the challenges have to do with your brain and sometimes just luck, to be honest with you.
It is a lot. And I think just because he wasn't in the moving company.
Right. That's basically what happened. It was another guy.
It's so important to build a strong alliance when you go in there.
Right from the beginning. Literally from the second you step in there, you have to start your alliance up right away.
Yeah.
So then they go right into the live HOH. It's a very familiar one that you did before. Basically, it's barbecue sauce. They're trying to fill it up. Whoever gets to the top is HOH. That's where we're going to stop our broadcast with talking about that today. We'll go into this week's on Thursday, but we were talking about, like, because you did this challenge and people were slamming. Like, we talked about this with Rachel, that, like, I'm surprised someone hasn't broken their arm, a concussion, because it's, like, really, really slippery. And on your season, everyone was just crashing and burning. You were crawling on the floor.
I did the little cat crawl, which I guess Amanda did too. And also, though, Gina Marie hurt her wrist. She was wearing a brace or something. But yeah, I don't know if they changed the consistency of this competition, because I know that everyone I was too scared because I didn't want to hurt my back again. So I was really taking it easy, and I knew I wasn't going to win. I was just like waiting for Shane to fill up the jug.
Right. You were just going back and forth, and you were just trying to look pretty.
Yeah.
Well, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. I mean, obviously next week, last night's episode, they did discuss, the racism and some of that. So we're going to discuss that on Thursday's show. Because, and then we'll hopefully just be done with it. And
I'm tired of kind of hearing about it.
I'm tired of hearing about it too. Like, it's going to be interesting well, first of all, I'm glad that CBS addressed it. I don't think they really had a choice.
Yeah.
Because there's public outcry is sort of out of control, especially with, like, the Paula Deen stuff. And
it couldn't have been worse timing.
The Alec Baldwin. I mean, Paula Deen can maybe move into the house. I mean, she needs a job right now, bless her. But I mean, this is like sort of like showing like a little snapshot of America. That's what Big Brother is.
Yes.
It's a snapshot of America. It's a bunch of different personalities from different backgrounds all living in a house and how they all interact with each other. And it just basically shows, like, some of us have a long way to go, and, like, it's really, disappointing, but it's really not that unexpected to think that this is how people still are. I mean,
I guess. it's sad because
we're from
they don't
California.
know.
We live in California, so it's a little bit different. But, like, in other parts of the country, and even in California, there's people that are literally still, like, live in, like, the Twilight Zone.
You're right. That's just me being ignorant, because I'm like, everyone needs to be filled with love and open your hearts and minds.
Right. Well, anyways, we want to thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure you check us out. Where can people find you on your social media?
Oh, Twitter, Ashley Iocco, ASHLEYIOCCO.
Oh, fantastic. You said that so fast. I always thought it was Ashley Iocco, but Iocco is what it is.
Yes.
And you guys, you can find me on Twitter, Ryan A. Carrillo, Carrillo, on Instagram. I'm not even going to tell you my Snapchat. Don't you love Snapchat?
Oh my God. Everything, I'm just Ashley Iocco. I'm so easy to find on all social networking.
I'm all the same.
Insta, Facebook.
All of it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.